Hello and welcome to Creators on the Crest. I'm Stephanie and this is the Wolf Out series reading 11 of 12. Today I've pulled 2 cards to determine the theme, which we'll get into in a moment. We're going to be doing a spread called Your Best Self, which is going to help us identify strengths and opportunities and give us some practical guidance as we move forward. If this particular reading doesn't resonate, maybe try another one in the series. If you're interested in a personal reading, I will have links in the description below. You can also find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Creators on the Crest. Okay, so coming in with some powerful energies today, I'm calling this one Wisdom Council because these energies that are coming in are ones of powerful, self-aware, self-responsible individuals, both men and women coming to the table. This is taking your seat at the round table. This is coming together in council. This is figuring out solutions for how to help humanity move forward together, but not without first doing the work upon ourselves, right? To take your seat at the table, you have to be in a place of empowerment. You have to be in a place of awareness, and you have to have been doing the inner work. Otherwise, you're not going to be clear and centered in your voice and in your actions. So keep that in mind. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be willing to face the truth within yourself. This Justice card comes in. We have a master number 11 here. This is fierce energy. The truth sometimes is painful. And anyone who's done any amount of inner work will be able to tell you, yes, that's the case. That is the case. But we are responsible for ourselves, our actions, our words in the world. And it is so important that we bring that to a place of meaning and wholeness, and that we choose our words wisely, that we are kind with our words to ourselves and others when it calls for us to be kind, and that we are firm and that we set boundaries with others when that is what is called for. Okay. So keeping in mind, this is all about wisdom and being a part of a council of wisdom. We are going to see now, we're going to get into the nitty gritty and see what the juicy details of these energies are. I'm going to pull some cards and then we'll talk about them. Vibrancy, nice. Oopsie doopsie doops. Change, yep. Wow. Some of these readings in this series are overlapping a little bit, so I would definitely encourage you maybe to check out more than one. There may be some themes running through. All right, so here's what we have. The goal of the Wisdom Council is to come together. We have the beta of leaders. Now you might say, oh, well, why don't we have the alpha? The beta is the female. So we have a feminine energy coming here, and she's bringing in her vibrancy. And I fully believe that this world is only going to align and evolve well on the natural organic timeline when men and women can come together, and that we're not pulled into the extreme polarities of one or the other. We have seen things go from one extreme to the other. That has been the pattern. We have it in our blood codes, in our knowing. We may not have lived it this lifetime necessarily, one or the other, but the pendulum has swung both ways. But this feminine energy, this shows me when we're coming in with this wise feminine energy, but this energy that's very vibrant. This is like the Queen of Wands in the traditional tarot. And I haven't been talking about the traditional tarot very much, but in this case, I think it is important because the goal is for women, and I'm a woman, so I can talk about coming into alignment with themselves and shining, and that their voice, although at times may be softer, is still as important as the stronger voices of the pack, of the tribe, of the council at the round table, right? And so this is the goal. The goal is to make sure that the healed, not the toxic, but the healed feminine does have a place at the table, okay? And that is kind of calling out us women here, that we're going to have to be able to step up and take those roles. That doesn't mean we have to become masculine. That doesn't mean we have to always be in the energies of whatever society tells us to be, or whatever is the predominant belief at the time. This is about being true to ourselves. This is about having a knowing within ourselves as women, and coming to the table knowing that we are the womb carriers, that we carry the womb, and that we can birth the world anew, and that the intuition and the sensitivity and the gentleness and the still hand of the woman is important here. It's important to bring that in to the wisdom council. So very interesting. We're getting, that does not come without challenge though. We have to bring our best selves, ladies, to this. And for the men that might be listening, this is your opportunity to recognize maybe and help build up a healed feminine, a natural woman. When you see a natural woman and you acknowledge that she is stepping up into her position, into her place of power, the goal here for you might be to make sure she's feeling encouraged, supported, and recognized, whether that's very personal in your own life or maybe a group you're a part of. So men, if you're out there, you're in groups with women, or there's been a woman that's been particularly impressive to you, it might be a nice time to pay her a compliment, to thank her for the energy that she brings, and just to ensure she feels encouraged. Okay, so our challenge here is change. We got the 8 of Leaders. So this may be feeling like things are coming too fast at times and feeling a little worn out, feeling almost like you might be, like this wolf might be just kind of flying through the air and like, should I surrender to this? Should I not? The nature of the current challenge is change. We are in a time of great change. There's no doubt about it. And change can bring growing pains, right? Because we are in the midst of working out all of the dark stuff, the evil, if you want to call it that, and the dark sorcery and all of that kind of thing that would have the world be a more chaotic place. And so it's a bit challenging, and we acknowledge that. It's also challenging too, with all the polarity paradigms that are out there, and pitting, us versus them. This can be the challenge of change, of bringing the masculine and feminine into balance. And that can mean sacred partnerships, which I think a few of the videos in this series were about evolved partnerships and that kind of thing, and love in that way, and coming together in partnership, right? And evolving and committing ourselves to evolved partnerships. But it could also mean, as we're interacting and as we're collaborating with others, there's a certain energy that's brought when 2 men work together. There's a certain energy that's brought when 2 women work together. And then there's a third energy, you could call it a trinity type energy, when a man and a woman come together and collaborate, right? And that can be in any sense, whether it be very personal or in business and in entrepreneurship, right? So that's our challenge, is kind of navigating this. Does this feel okay? How do I feel about this? How do they feel about this? How do I express myself in this situation? Do I express myself differently? Do I not? There's challenges here. There's all these kind of doubts that I'm feeling in the energy field. And our job is to flow with the change and stick to our heart of hearts. Now, we do have a strength here, which is interesting. The thing that is most helpful would be finding things that make us feel good, finding collaborations that make us feel good, finding those partnerships that make us feel good. I'm feeling a very Piscean energy here. So things that have us flowing. And I just said in the challenge with the change, we need to kind of flow with it and not let all the little nets, traps, and snares that are in the water catch us, right? And catch us off guard and really backtrack us, right? We're supposed to be feeling good about what we're doing. Now, it doesn't come without challenge. It doesn't come without, there's going to be days where maybe you're a little bit more down than others and you're just like, I can't take it. But you want to set your mind on the ideal. Put your mind on the ideal of like, what does it look like to come together at a table with a group of evolved men and women in a council and just talk, maybe just discuss ideas, brainstorm, it doesn't have to be solving every problem of the world. Solutions will come out of the creative process when men and women come together. So I know this isn't happening very much right now. I really have not seen any really super strong examples of it. I think it's beginning to take shape in the reality field. I think some of it is beginning to come in, and there's been little inklings here and there. There's been some people got together here, some people got together there, but we still need more momentum with this. And so those of us who are listening to this video, who are tuning into this, we're being called. We're being called to step up into our respective positions and really see where we can come together here and just get in our creative flow and feeling good about that. Now, the weakness here, there's a lot of anxiety. What will this person think? What will that person think? If I do this, then this other person might think something. There's a lot of overthinking and kind of like toxic thinking that I'm picking up here that just puts us in the abyss. When we go into that, get into the mind space and we've left our heart behind, we're not really paying attention to that, and we go into these dark caves and these rabbit holes. Now, don't get me wrong, it's very shamanic sometimes to go into a cave and build your little fire and have a ritual and everything. But in this particular case, we're talking about anxiety. And it is not the time to go hiding away in the mountain. It is the time to come to the table. So the weakness might be to retreat, or for some of you, you've tried collaborations, you've tried things and they just haven't worked out. And you're letting the negatives of that experience overcome what actually the learning was from that. And so you may be doing that, and instead, well, if I do this, that'll happen. But what if it doesn't? What if you get to be in a different mind and heart space now than you were then when whatever happened, right? Whatever happened, whether it was very personal in your life with like a partner or in a group. What are the things that you really learned? If you keep focusing on like all the negatives, I feel like some of you, you know what the positives were, you know what the negatives were, but you're still dwelling. There's still a dwelling on something there. And it could be very subconscious. You may not even be aware you're still carrying this energy. And this is causing you not to trust yourself and not to flow. This is trying to direct your energy in a very specific way to control the future instead of to trust yourself as the future unfolds. So let me say that again. This is an energy, this is a weakness of trying to control the future instead of trusting yourself as you step into the future, which is it's a very like fine line there. It's a little bit different energy there. You can sense it. Because if you're in alignment and you're living an aligned life and you're coming to the table with other aligned people, yeah, there could be disagreements. So what? That is how we learn and grow. It's all in how we take it. It's all in the maturity that we bring to the table. So we can't let this anxious mind chatter slow us down. We can't let that happen. That's a weakness. The advice here is the Six of Watchers, transition. So here we have change and here we have transition. Change is in the challenge, but transition is in the advice. We have to allow this to happen. Yes, we are creating in every moment, and we have to trust that. We have to trust that if we're in alignment and we're doing the work upon ourselves, there has to be some hope in this transition here, that we are going to keep flowing through these spirals and keep on our evolutionary path. And we're going to do that in a grounded way as well. I get both water and earth here. So I'm getting those two elements coming together, like at the ocean or a lake, at the shore. And that might be healthy for some of us, you know, as advice, is to go to a body of water and spend some time next to that body of water. Let the water and the earth and the sounds between them and the feeling between them speak to us. How they work together and how over time they change one another. That will really help us as we come to the table. We can't come with the anxious energy, because if we do, it's going to fall apart again. We have to come with an energy of the heart, of love, of a more Piscean flow, without any, well, I will say it's very human to have expectations, but rigid expectations, right? Super rigid expectations. And maybe that's why the feminine comes up here, because she is about cycles. She is about flows. She is the one that can introduce that energy into a collective situation. Really cool stuff here. Again, I feel like maybe this is a real life mage podcast topic for the future. And just super deep stuff here, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I hope you got something out of this reading. I certainly did, and I can't wait to see you next time.